Super, super.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone, for our Invincible Health series on brain health, part 3. Today, we'll be discussing the importance of exercise. My name is Krista Gervon. I'm the Communications Director at Princeton Integrative Health. And as always, I'm joined by Dr. Vin, who's our Clinical Director. And again, we're going to talk about brain health as it relates to exercise and how that can help our brain. So shall we get started? Or do you have an intro to give us before we go into the questions? Oh, I think we may have, are you frozen?
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, you're there, okay.
Can't get to the gym, and I'm going to save us to do. So, all right. Happy to get going.
Okay. All right, let me go get my questions really quickly. Okay, so can you give us maybe just an overall, explanation of why exercise is so important for our brains? I know it's obviously very important for our overall health, but why our brains?
So, exercise is important for our brains for a number of reasons. I mean, the first thing that it does is as you start to exercise, get your heart rate up a little bit, blood starts flowing to your brain better. Get more oxygen, you get more nutrients. So that, of course, is important. The second thing is that that the brain experiences that as when the blood starts flowing more as somewhat of a physiologic stress, if you will. It then puts out nerve growth factors to help it deal with that, quote, stress. I'm not talking about the stress, the external stress that's coming in, but just it feels that physiologic stress. It knows something is going on in the body, and so it compensates by making the nerves grow versus atrophying and dying. So that's the real reason why exercise is so important. You have to get those nerve growth factors going.
Got it. And that kind of goes into the second question I had about what exactly happens in the brain when we exercise. You kind of already did mention a little bit of it, but could you maybe add up a little bit more about that? Like what actually happens?
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, there are two things that, the brain can be in one of two states. Either it can be growing, adding resilience to the brain. Neuroplasticity is one of those terms. The brain becomes more flexible, could do more things, or it could be atrophying, kind of shrinking and dying. The latter state is not what you want to be in.
Right.
You want to improve the blood flow to the brain by exercising, again, increasing your heart rate. You want to be making those nerve growth factors. Again, I mentioned the stress. It's also, as you do different things, as you say, you start dancing and learning different moves, so that part of the brain starts to make more synaptic connections. As you, those complex movements that people do, do the same kind of thing. And as you do brain games, you're exercising different parts of your brain. So it's not only just the physical activity, but also mental activity.
Yeah, I was going to ask
new things that can increase those synaptic connections.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too. I know that we talk about the physical, exercise, but I know that, a lot of people have recommended doing crossword puzzles or, other types of critical thinking games to keep our brain in really good health. Do you have any recommendations as far as those types of mind games, if you will?
Yes, mind games in the good sense.
Yes.
Yeah, so anything is going to help. I mean, if you enjoy doing crossword puzzles, I'd say do crossword puzzles. If you enjoy doing Sudoku, do that. Do the things that you're going to enjoy. You'll get a double benefit. It will increase your mental capacity, and it will release some of that stress that you feel in your life. So that's one thing.
Yeah.
The other things that you can do is you can actually do brain exercises. There are a couple of companies that I know of. One is Lumosity,
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is Brain HQ, where they have specific games, if you will, tasks that you do that are important for each different part of the brain. So there'll be sound patterns that you have to repeat, or complex mazes that you have to follow, and that is good for exercising specific areas. And you can, and the nice thing about being with those companies, then you can follow your progress. You can see how you're getting better and that kind of thing. So yeah, all that is important. It's definitely important.
It reminds me almost of like a more modern version of Simon, that game back in the 80s where you'd have to remember the sequence of the blue
Right.
screen. Yeah.
Yes. I think that's one of the games.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, we do live in 2021 now, and everything is available kind of at our fingertips on our phone. So I was kind of leading up to the next question too. I know there's so many different apps that we can track our exercise with, track our food, watches, things like that. Do you recommend using any of those, or just as a way to kind of organize yourself or keep yourself accountable?
Yeah, I think it's a great tool for some people. Some people love that. They can keep themselves accountable. They can monitor their progress. I think it's great for that. Some people may not like that, and then I would say, well, then don't do it. Find another way to keep yourself organized. But yeah, I think for the people that are very much into that type of apps and that kind of thing, I would say yes. A lot of people use the Aura Ring, and that helps keep track of their sleep and all of that. So I'm actually thinking I might break down and buy one and keep better track of what's going on. So I think that helps. I think that helps some people. You get reminders and you can see what areas you're deficient in. So once we start to measure and monitor anything, it changes our behavior. So
I agree.
If that behavior change, if you need that app to get the behavior change, then go for it.
I recently got an Apple Watch, and I was kind of against those types of things too. But there's challenges, like fitness challenges, that now I have friends who have Apple Watches, and I'm not in competition necessarily, but we kind of nudge each other, like, hey, you have to close your exercise ring, or you have to close your calorie ring. So I think it can be fun and it can be motivating. So whatever these days to get us out of the house or to get moving, because we've been inside and it's freezing out.
Yeah, just absolutely. Just don't let it add more stress to your life.
Exactly, right. I was going to go back to the physical aspect for a second, doing, physical workouts. Is there any type of particular physical activity that you recommend over another? I know you mentioned dancing because, you're trying to remember the steps in your head. But is there anything else as far as, that's beneficial for our health or for our brain?
Sure. Well, I'll say first that any kind of physical activity helps. Going out for a walk, especially if you can walk at a moderate pace. 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activities recommended for people. But if you feel like you can't start there, just start somewhere.
Yeah.
If you only feel like you can get out there once a week for 10 minutes, then start there and then gradually work up. So some type of, physical activity, aerobic activity, getting that going. The other thing that, the other types of activity that are great are people do yoga or Tai Chi, some type of flexibility type of exercise, something that more mindful about moving our muscles. That helps. It increases strength. You're learning new moves, so it's increasing that part of the brain. So that is recommended. And those activities also help improve balance, so that, as we age, falling becomes a bigger and bigger risk factor in our lives, and we have less resilience. So, for many people, when they fall, it starts for many of the elderly, when they fall, it starts a downward spiral. They break a hip, they break a wrist, they become less self-sufficient. So doing things like yoga and Tai Chi can improve that balance. I during the day, make sure I stand on one foot for a little while, just to make sure that, my balance is doing better. I skied a couple of days this week and worked on my balance, also worked on, if I fall, I didn't break anything a number of times. So So I'm happy to report that.
You have powder out there right now that at least it's not so hard when you fall?
There is powder. Yes. Yes. It still feels hard when you fall, though.
Yeah.
So yoga, Tai Chi, and then, strength training, doing either weights or resistance exercises. In the morning, I do kind of a combination of, they're called the 5 Tibetan rites, R-I-T-E-S. That supposedly predates yoga, or, ancient, one of those ancient Buddhist, I believe, rites. It's meant to help with flexibility, improve your chakras. So I do that every morning, and that gets some flexibility, some strength training, and then I do some push-ups to get that resistance training going. So all of that helps. And again, as you improve your strength, as you improve your leg strength, it helps prevent falls. So all of those 3 types of exercise are recommended. And if you even have to start with just a small amount of each every week, or start with one and eventually add it all in, you don't have to go out the first week and, do 300 minutes of aerobic activity, an hour a day of exercise strength training. That's not even recommended. Probably 2 to 3 times a week of strength training, and yoga maybe 2 to 3 times a week. But you don't have to start there. Just start somewhere.
Yeah, so. And I want to point out, you're talking about kind of what your routine was, every day or every morning. And it's all stuff you can do from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to rely upon a gym or, some sort of wellness fitness center to go to. You can do most of these things, in your room or in your living room, and get, your day started in a, brain healthy way.
Yes.
I'm going to look and see if we have any questions. We'll take a little time out. Okay, so we have a private message. So why don't I give that to you privately, and I don't know if you can see it because I'm the host, and then maybe we'll get back to that person
okay.
Over email. Okay?
Okay.
And let me just check out Facebook really quickly to see if we have any. And, feel free to unmute yourselves if you want to, ask your question out loud. It's fine too.
Two to 3 times a week, but you don't have to start there. Just start some.
No comments on Facebook as of yet. Sorry if that came through again. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to either type it in the chat or unmute yourself again, or otherwise, oh, here we go. Someone is saying they just want to say thank you for having this and for your cool ideas.
Well, thank you, Mary Kay.
Yes, thank you, Mary Kay. And again, this is on Facebook Live too, so you can always share this video with anyone that may find the information helpful. And if you do have any other private questions, you can feel free to call our office or email us. We'll be happy to help you. But we will get back to that other question privately over email as well. Anything else, Dr. Vinny?
Yeah, so I just wanted to summarize real quickly. Again, do some aerobic activity, do some strength training, do some flexibility and balance training. And the most important thing is to do something. If you do something, you are doing infinitely more than if you don't start your exercise regimen. So it's important. Start somewhere, start small, gradually build up. This is a marathon. This is not a sprint. So just start somewhere and get going. So thank you, everyone who came. And I hope to see you again soon. And I'll be on next week at 4:30. Invite your family and friends. And I believe next week is going to be sleep, right? We haven't spoken about sleep yet, I don't think.
I've not
right?
done sleep. So it will be brain health and sleep?
Yep.
Brain health and sleep. Perfect. And someone did ask if this is going to be on Facebook. Yes, we've been Facebook Live this entire time. So you can go back to our Facebook page and start it from the beginning, and you should be able to pick up from the beginning.
Yes, please share this with your family and friends. And yes, again, great to see everyone. I was out at the Lyme conference here this week, and so it's been It's been great. So
Well, safe travels.
I'll be sharing all that stuff with you soon too.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Okay.
Have a good day. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Krista.
Dr.
Thank
Vinny,
you,
safe
everyone.
travels.
Thank you very much. It was really nice.
Thanks, Donna.
Oh, very welcome.
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right. Have a great night.
Okay, you too, Krista. Let's see. So are you emailing me that private message?